Let's take a look at 29 mistakes you might have missed in Season 8 and 9 of SpongeBob. You don't want to miss these, so watch and listen closely to see if you can spot or hear them. Now, let's dive in. First up is Squirrel Record from Season 9. In this episode, Sandy enlists SpongeBob's help to break as many Guinness World Records as she can.
I swear by the power of Texas, I'm gonna break all the records in this here book.
But breaking these records include having the world's longest tongue, the world's longest teeth, and worst of all, eating a bucket of raw chum. But there were a few mistakes made throughout this episode, so let's take a look at those. At the beginning of the episode, SpongeBob stores a Krabby Patty in his wallet for later. When he opens it, we can see he has a milkshake license on the right inner flap and cards on the left. We see the wallet again later when he uses the Krabby Patty to save Sandy, but the inside of the wallet looks different now. On the right flap, there is a stitched-in design of a cowboy saying "Yeehaw," and on the left, there is a star. There are also two other mistakes in this scene. When SpongeBob pulls the Krabby Patty out of his wallet, there are bubbles. But he's in Sandy's tree dome where there's no water, only air. Speaking of air, he takes a deep breath, but he is a sea creature and can't breathe. Technically, SpongeBob should be dying right now without water. Watch SpongeBob's mouth and listen to this scene.
What's this? Someone threw away a book. You shouldn't throw away books.
When SpongeBob is backing away, he mouths something, but no sound comes out. He is actually saying "trash monster," and it can be heard in the DVD version, but not this one. Also in this scene, SpongeBob throws his mask to the ground behind him. We get a shot of that side of the dumpster as he backs away, and the mask isn't there. When Sandy opens the record book, there is a list of records with the names and pictures of the fish that beat them. But later, when Sandy is adding photos to the book, the names are missing, and only the photo and what record they broke is visible. SpongeBob leaves the tree dome to go get his camera, but he doesn't have his helmet on and he leaves it behind. When he's seen returning a few seconds later, he somehow has his water helmet again. Here's another clip to listen to. Try to find the inconsistency.
I think I smell Gary's sandbox. Better go clean it. Now. I think you broke a record today, Gary. World's stinkiest litter box.
When SpongeBob is with Sandy, he says sandbox, which makes sense because under the sea, there is nothing but sand. But in the next scene, he says litter box. It seems the writers reverted back to the modern term by accident. And there is one more mistake. Do you see it?
Record broken.
Ouch.
Take a picture.
Say cheese.
When SpongeBob slams into the roof of the stone, he and his camera go inside of the water helmet. When he hits the ground after, his camera is no longer in the helmet with him and is lying on the ground next to him instead. Next is Squid Baby, another episode from Season 9. In this episode, Squidward hits his head a few times.
Squidward!
As a result of the head injury, he ends up with a condition called head-go-boom-boomitis. He has reverted back to a baby, and SpongeBob and Patrick must take care of him. But they aren't very good parents.
Patrick, how could you? There. My little darling. We're supposed to protect his head, remember? Okay, Squiddy, I made your favorite. Krill tartare with an LJ vinaigrette. Here it comes, open wide.
SpongeBob and Patrick aren't the only ones to make mistakes along the way. After Squidward's head swells and they go to the doctor, SpongeBob asks this.
What's the prognosis, Doc?
Here, it makes more sense for SpongeBob to ask, what is the diagnosis? Prognosis means a prediction of what will happen to someone after their injury, including treatment and results. Diagnosis is the identification of the disease. The doctor responds with answers to both. First, the diagnosis, and then the prognosis. This next mistake is a common one. See if you can spot it. Hint, keep an eye on SpongeBob's face.
Mustn't receive any more blows to the head, or he may remain this way permanently. Just care for him as if he were your very own bouncing baby boy.
All right, here's the answer. The mistake is SpongeBob's eyelashes. They are there at first, but during the close-up shot, he blinks and they disappear. Once the angle switches to a faraway shot again, they return. Now, keep in mind, the doctor said that Squidward can't receive any more blows to the head, or he'd be that way permanently. Apparently, that was a lie because... And yet, somehow, he recovers.
Oh, Squidward!
Anyways, this last scene has 2 errors. Watch the bottom of SpongeBob, where he meets the edge of the frame. When he moves up, you can see there is a gap and he has no bottom half. He's just a head. He's also missing arms in this scene. Next, we'll be jumping back to season 8 to take a look at face freeze. In this episode, the age-old superstition that your face will get stuck if you keep making funny faces comes true. SpongeBob and Patrick pay the ultimate price for their fun.
Patrick, we have the face freeze!
And it doesn't get much better from there.
Wicked face freeze ain't going nowhere. But y'all are looking much more relaxed.
There was a mistake in that clip, did you see it? When we get a close-up of the mirrors, Sandy is still speaking, and we can see her face in the background, but her mouth isn't moving. While SpongeBob and Patrick are in Sandy's tree dome, they aren't wearing their water helmets. They should be shriveling up, but they're both doing just fine. Back at the start of the episode, when the camera pans from SpongeBob and Patrick to Mr. Krabs' office, there is an error. Where the boat, register, and window should be in the bottom right corner, there's a table instead. There are 2 errors in this next clip.
Your order is served, sir.
I'm sorry. I did not order a side of lips with my patty.
Oh dear.
One mistake is easier to spot than the other, so we'll start with the easy one. SpongeBob has on his Krusty Krab hat, but when he is shown from the front with his lips on the tray, it's gone. And it's there again when the camera zooms back out. The second error has to do with SpongeBob's lips. In the shot from behind, we can still see his chin and lips sagging below his pants, but when the camera cuts to the front, they're on the tray. And the last one we'll be taking a look at for today is License to Milkshake from Season 9. In this episode, SpongeBob's milkshake licenses expired 7 years ago, much to a customer's horror. Now, SpongeBob must go through milkshake boot camp in order to renew his license.
My sole purpose is to transform you from mere guppies into cool, cold-drafted, chilled-to-the-bone, ice-cream-blooded, licensed, milkshake-making guppies.
At the start of the episode, there is an inconsistency with the consistency of the milkshake SpongeBob makes. Incidental 40 uses it like a hammer to destroy his table, but then, just a few moments later, he smashes it in SpongeBob's hat and it's a liquid. Maybe if he had just waited a few seconds, he could have drank it. There's also a mistake with Incidental 40's face here.
Wait! I almost forgot! The cherry on top. There you are, sir. A perfect double-dip milkshake. Enjoy.
Well, it looks delightful.
Incidental 40's eyebrows disappear after SpongeBob puts the cherry on the milkshake, and they don't return at all in this scene. They don't make an appearance again until the end of the episode. Look at the top right side of SpongeBob in this scene, where yellow meets the blue sky. It looks like a part of him is cut off. Rather than his dark yellow squiggly outline, it's just a straight line. When the cadet explains how to use the ice cream machine to SpongeBob, watch the bottom panel. Here, there are 3 switches and 2 red buttons, but during the close-up, there are 2 switches and 2 red buttons. When SpongeBob goes to use it, there is suddenly 1 red button and 3 switches. The last mistake happens here, when Captain Frosty Mug gets stuck in the blender. He gets one hand stuck, but how the heck does he get his entire body stuck in there? Does he stick his feet in to try get his hand free? It shouldn't be possible. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe. Then click the video on screen to watch our newest video. See you there!